We're here to protect you and the ones that you love. It's a good feeling to know that our efforts aren't going unnoticed.
It actually brought tears to my eyes to know that we have this support.
You're welcome. I must just say, you're welcome. It's stressful, but we're not going anywhere.
All right, guys, we're recording. Welcome to another edition of Bucknell Men's Track and Field Through the Decades. Tonight, we have the most recent decade of Bucknell men's alum, the classes from 2010 to the current year, and we've got a great group of alums, a lot of talent on this call, joining head coach Kevin Donner and one of our current student athletes, Alex DeSoy, who is a senior sprinter from Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. We want to thank Alex for taking the time out tonight to be on the call. My name is Todd Newcomb, and I want to thank Geisinger as our sponsor. Geisinger has done a great job throughout the pandemic, and as always, they do a great job with our student athletes here at Bucknell day in and day out. So thank you to Geisinger. Want to get right to it and introduce our alums, and then I'll turn it over to Coach Donner for our questions. Our first alum from the class of 2011 is Drew Fitzgerald. Drew, indoors, was an All-East selection in 2008. He was the Patriot League individual champion in the high jump and also the Patriot League field athlete of the meet at the 2009 indoor championships. He was a three-time All-Patriot League selection, including a first-team honoree in 2009. Among Bucknell's indoor all-time top 10 list, he currently ranks third in both the high jump and the heptathlon. Outdoors, he was an NCAA regional qualifier in both the high jump and the pole vault in 2009. He was a Patriot League individual champion in the pole vault in 2009. He was a two-time All-Patriot League selection, including a first-team honoree in that year. He was Bucknell's outdoor all-time top 10 list. He set the school record and currently ranks second in the high jump and seventh in the pole vault. He won the Edward W. Pangburn Award at the Athletic Department Senior Awards Dinner. Our next guest from the class of 2012 is Rob Arndt. Indoors, he was a two-time All-East selection. He was a three-time Patriot League individual champion, including twice in the 400. He was a four-time All-Patriot League selection, including a first-team honoree in both 2010 and 2011. And among Bucknell's indoor all-time top 10 list, he is the school record holder in the 400. He set the school record and currently ranks second in the 60-meter hurdles, and he's fifth in both the 300 and is part of the 4x400 shuttle hurdles relay unit. Outdoors, he was All-East and an NCAA regional qualifier in the 400 intermediate hurdles, and in 2010, he was a six-time Patriot League individual champion, including three times in the 400 intermediate hurdles and twice in the 400. He was chosen as the Patriot League track athlete of the meet at both the 2010 and 2011 outdoor championships. He was a five-time All-Patriot League selection, including three times as a member of the first team. Among Bucknell's outdoor all-time top 10 list, he is the school record holder in the 400 intermediate hurdles. He set the school record and is currently third in the 100 high hurdles, is fifth as a member of the 4x4 relay, and seventh in the 400. He was an academic all-district first-team selection in 2012, a four-time member of the academic Patriot League team, and he won the Christy Mathewson Award at the Athletic Department's Senior Awards Dinner. Our next guest from the class of 2013 is Justin Hicks. Indoors, he was a four-time Patriot League individual champion, including twice in the 60. He was the Patriot League Rookie of the Meet at the 2010 Indoor Championships and the Patriot League Track Athlete of the Meet at the 2012 Indoor Championships. He was a four-time All-Patriot League selection, including three first-team citations. Among Bucknell's indoor all-time top 10 list, he set the school record and is currently second in the 60. He ranks sixth in both the 200 and 300 and seventh as a member of the 4x400 relay. Outdoors, he was a two-time All-East selection, a four-time Patriot League individual champion, including twice in the 100. He was a four-time All-Patriot League selection, including first team in both 2011 and 2013. Among Bucknell's outdoor all-time top 10 list, he set the school record and currently ranks second in the 200. He set the school record and currently ranks second as a member of the 4x100 relay. He ranks second in the 100 and seventh as a member of the 4x400 relay. He won the Bradley Tufts Award at the Athletic Department Senior Awards Dinner. Our next guest from the class of 2015 is Christian Lupica. Indoors, he was a 5-time All-East selection. He was a Patriot League individual champion in the 60 hurdles in both 2014 and 2015. He was a 4-time All-Patriot League selection, including first team in both 2014 and 2015. Among Bucknell's indoor all-time top 10 list, he is a school record holder in the 60 hurdles and as part of the 4x400 relay unit. He set the school record and currently ranks second in the 300. He ranks third in the 200, fifth in the 60, and sixth in the 400. He set the Gerhard Fieldhouse record in the 60 hurdles in 2014. Outdoors, he was a 3-time NCAA regional qualifier in the 110 high hurdles and a 2-time All-East selection. Got so much here, I got to keep track. He was a 4-time Patriot League individual champion, including twice in the 110 high hurdles, a 3-time All-Patriot League selection, including first-team citations in 2014 and 2015. He was chosen as the Patriot League track athlete of the meet in 2014 at the Outdoor Championship. And among Bucknell's outdoor all-time top 10 list, he owns school records in the 110 high hurdles and is part of both the 4x100 and 4x400 relay units, and he ranks 4th in both the 200 and 400 intermediate hurdles. He was a 4-time member of the Academic All-Patriot League team, and he won the Christy Mathewson Award at the Athletic Department Senior Awards Dinner. And our final guest and most recent alum from the class of 2019 is Billy Milcioni. Indoors, he was an All-East honoree in 2019. He was a member of the gold medal winning 4x400 relay in 2018. He was a 2-time All-Patriot League selection, including first team citation in 2018. Among Bucknell's indoor all-time top 10 list, he owns school records in both the 200 and 300 and ranks 10th in the 400. He set the Gerhard Fieldhouse record in the 300 in 2018. Outdoors, he was a 5-time All-East selection, a 4-time Patriot League champion, including twice in the 400. He was an All-Patriot League first-team selection in both 2017 and 2018. He was named the Patriot League track athlete of the meet at both the 2017 and 2018 outdoor championships. Among Bucknell's outdoor all-time 10 list, he owns the school record in the 200, ranks second in the 400, and is part of the 4x400 relay, 4th as part of the 4x100 relay. He too won the Christy Mathewson Award at the Athletic Department Senior Awards Dinner. So Kevin, I need some oxygen. There's definitely a bunch of future Hall of Famers on this call. I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's have some fun.
Do we have any time left here? All these accolades, I think we ran out of our time. But anyway, guys, welcome. These have been a lot of fun. We did them for cross country of the decades back in the fall. A few weeks ago, we did them on the ladies' side. And like Todd said, we just got done with the 1980s just before you guys. But these are a lot of fun. You guys will enjoy it. I was looking forward to this one because there's a lot of championships won during your decade. Some would call it the golden era of men's track and field. And Todd is right. I do project some Hall of Famers coming in this once you guys get to that 10-year period. But anyway, first question is before we start sharing memories, I want you guys to update everybody on what you've been doing since graduation, family, your job, things like that. And we'll start with Billy, the most recent guy, the youngin' here.
Right. Yeah. When I graduated, I moved back home to Albany. I started working at both GE and Apple. I spent about a year at GE before I left about 3 months ago to join a startup company just outside of Albany doing rail intermodal transportation. So I've been doing that for about 3 months along with Apple, and I'm just enjoying it. I'm living at home, but my parents bought a house in South Carolina, so they've been rotating between there and here. So sometimes I have a house to myself, sometimes I get to spend time with my family, but pretty much all I've been doing is just working.
All right, great to hear. And we'll go with Justin. I think you got engaged, didn't you?
Yes. So
I thought I read that. Congratulations.
Very exciting. Thank you, Coach. Planning to get married next year. I am currently living with my fiance and newest member of our family, a new puppy, little Kobe. We are in Atlanta, Georgia now. Just after graduation, I joined Teach for America, went back home to Delaware for 2 years, and then came down to Atlanta, where I've been an educator, a coach. I'm a director of the summer programs at the Lovett School here in Atlanta, Georgia. The associate head of our varsity track and field team. I'm a coach at a few other sports, but it's been living, enjoying life.
All right, great. Start sending some boys out my way. So, all right, Drew, tell us what you've been doing and everything.
Sure, I didn't realize Billy was from upstate New York. I'm from Ballston Spa, so
Okay, right next to me.
20 minutes from there, yeah. But yes, I've for now 8 years been working for a medical device company right outside of Philadelphia. So my territory is actually in where Alex grew up. I cover Egg Harbor Township, Atlanticare, and all that stuff out at the Jersey Shore. But so yeah, I'm a device manager for a sales team, and I just got married in October, which is exciting. And that's it. Yeah.
All right, and Rob.
Yeah. I got married 2 years ago now. I just had a daughter 6 months ago.
Wow.
Thank you. I live in Clinton, New Jersey now, but I was part of the upstate crew for a while. I lived in Saratoga Springs, and I was doing some food chemistry work there. But then I moved back down to Jersey, where I'm from, and now I'm working in the electronics industry, where we make the chemicals that go into your computer chips, and been doing that for a while. Just doing research chemistry, so having a good time and learning how to be a dad.
All right, good luck with that.
Thank you.
And Christian.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. So career-wise, I started at BlackRock right after graduation in Princeton, New Jersey, which is like an investment management company. Basically, I just work with financial advisors, help them with portfolio construction, try to place BlackRock, funds and ETFs in their portfolios. Personal life outside of work, I'm also engaged to another member of the Bucknell 2015 track and field class, Kylie Pierce. So you know her pretty well.
Yeah.
We were supposed to get married last October. We postponed, so hopefully we'll get married if everything goes to plan this June. And then we have a house in Philadelphia. Currently, we're spending some extended time down in Austin, Texas, just taking advantage of remote working, getting some better weather, getting some good running in. So apologies for the bad background. I should have gone with the Bucknell track like you and Todd, but thanks for having me on.
One of my favorite cities is Austin, Texas. So
it's been fun.
We were there for the NCAA track championships there, 2019. I had that javelin girl, Maura Fiamencini. So great town there. So, all right, guys, let's take us back to the beginning of why you chose Bucknell and our track and field program. And we'll start with Billy again.
So I didn't
Bucknell.
really know much. I didn't really know much about Bucknell before coming for the visit. I came, not knowing whether I wanted to go D1 or D3. I'd only been running track at that point for a little over a year. So I was kind of scared of the D1 idea. I figured I would just be a D3 runner and, run track and get by. But when I came to Bucknell, I really loved it. My host was Tom Matera, who was a hurdler on the team when Christian was there. And I met Christian when I was on my recruiting visit, and I just really enjoyed the team aspect. I went to at the time where a lot of the athletes were living, and I got to meet a ton of people and just converse with them, in a normal, not with coaches around, just in like a normal setting, get to know them, get to know what the team's like, and I fell in love with it. And it didn't really matter where I visited after that, because I'm pretty sure in my meeting with you, I told you if you can get me in, I'm ready to come. So
yeah, I remember that. So you think it was the official visit that did it, the overnight visit?
Yeah, I think that was the first one I'd ever taken. So getting to see what the team dynamics are like. In high school, it was you run your race and you go home, you get out of the weather. In upstate New York, it's never nice weather. So you run your race, you get in your car, you get out of the cold weather. So being there, seeing the team, and unaccepted students day after I'd already committed is when Christian set the outdoor facility record.
Oh,
And
yeah.
getting to see everybody, excited for him as opposed to just, hearing about it after the fact. Everyone was there cheering, and it was a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, unfortunately with COVID, we weren't allowed to do campus visits this past year, this year and obviously last spring. So recruiting's been a little bit more of an obstacle. Our recruiting visits have been what you're doing right now. Zoom calls is what we've been doing. So Justin, tell us about your, what led you to Bucknell and our track and field program?
I would say it's similar to Billy. My visit definitely was a huge determiner. I'll never forget it. I've visited with Lenny Joseph. I believe my buddy was Kerry at that time. I know Kerry and Kyle, they were like the dynamic duo. I know Drew.
Kerry Boyle, yeah.
Rob, remember those guys? And they were the sprinting kings, it almost seemed like. I know Kerry had just set like a 200-meter record. That was something that I was like fighting to kind of achieve while I was at Bucknell. And just the ambiance, man. The team was great. I love the team camaraderie. Coach, you were running a great ship, and I was like, hey, I'll be a part of it. So ended up at Bucknell, and I think we ended up pretty successful.
The rest is history.
Great decision.
Yep. All right, good. Drew, tell us what your story.
For me, it just came down to the cafeteria, honestly.
Oh yeah.
No,
Me too.
No, so I had a coach. He was actually a basketball coach of mine in high school. And when I started getting serious about track and field, I went to him for guidance, and he pointed me just in the direction of the Patriot League. Kind of said, this is where I think you would fall. It's a very competitive conference. It's an academic school. Why don't you send those coaches some of the questionnaires? And he kind of said, just walk the high school kid through the process. You got to reach out to these coaches. They're not always going to find you, especially, at a small school in upstate New York. And so that's what I did. And I did 3 of my official visits for Patriot League: Lehigh, Lafayette, and Bucknell. And I just, I fell in love with Bucknell. And similar to what Billy was saying, it's like, if I can make this work, this is where I want to be. And at the time, Mario Wilson was very convincing as well, and a great coach, and someone that I, wanted to be coached by. So the official visit, like everyone is saying, was really, you could really differentiate the schools. Lehigh and Lafayette, on paper, as a high school kid, they looked the same. And then I went on the visit, and I was like, I want to be part of that Bucknell squad if I can. So that was great.
Great. We're going to see Mario Wilson this weekend. We're going to open up our outdoor season at the University of Virginia, where he's the jumps coach there. So that'll be kind of fun to see him. And by the way, that's literally going to be our first meet of the year. All of our indoor meets were canceled. And, so this will, and we were supposed to open up with an outdoor meet at Navy this past weekend. That got canceled. Navy's on a pause right now. So, we're opening up at UVA this weekend. First meet. First time I see the freshmen compete. So,
wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
We haven't seen them compete yet, except for inter squad, which is, as you know, a lot different.
Hope they're not made of sugar.
You have a unique story regarding coming to Bucknell. Why don't you share it with us?
Was that me?
Yeah, Rob, you have a unique story.
Sorry.
I know.
Yeah, I am not, I guess, a traditional, recruit. I was not recruited at all. I chose Bucknell for the cafeteria, of course. I just was going to Bucknell anyway. And then I ended up having a pretty good, outdoor spring season my senior year in high school. So then I met Coach Hobson Lynch at the Meet of Champions in New Jersey, and just kind of said, hey, I'm kind of interested in this. I was never going to pursue athletics in college at all, but I was, doing sports my whole life. How could I not continue that? So I had the opportunity to, try out for the Bucknell team once I started my freshman year. And I guess it kind of worked out a little bit.
You fell in our lap. So that was a great story. And Christian, Tell us how you ended up here.
Yeah, so my dad loves telling the story, Coach. I don't know if you remember this, but it was either like the summer before my senior year or the fall of my senior year of high school. My dad and I did like a big East Coast trip, like visiting a bunch of colleges, and we had just an informal meeting set up with Coach Donner at Bucknell. So I don't know if he mistook me for someone else or just made some assumptions based off of my like skinny physique, but we were in there. He's talking about cross country. He's talking about running the mile, and my dad he's like, Coach, like Christian's a high hurdler, and Coach Donner opens up my file and he looks at it. He looks back at me and he's like, Christian, we can make something happen here. And I was like 17 years old. I was super nervous. I was like, all right, I got a little bit more calm after that. But other than that, I mean, I love the campus. Doing the overnight visit was awesome. It was awesome. I followed Rob when I was in high school, and when I was starting to look at Bucknell, it was great to see like another established hurdler that was going to still be there on the team when I was there. So I had it narrowed down between Cornell and Bucknell, and you guys were willing to make me an official slot offer. So pretty no-brainer decision. I remember calling Coach Hobson like right around Thanksgiving my senior year and got it done. So it worked out really well.
All right, good. Well, while you're here, Christian, tell us your most memorable moment as a student athlete on the team.
Yeah, this is a tough one because there's so many good ones. So I'm going to cheat and I'm going to go with two. So I'm going to go with the team one and then a race one. So team wise, my favorite was just winning indoor leagues my freshman year. It was my first league meet of my entire life at home at the field house. We hadn't won indoor since 1993, which coincidentally is the same year that I've been born, and just the electricity in the field house, like that whole weekend, and there's all these alumni there that I didn't know. And I've never been a part of like a team experience like that in high school. And just coming in, being able to contribute my freshman year and to get that win and be able to celebrate with all the alumni on campus, it was crazy. And at that point I was, again, like 18 years old. I was like, we're winning all 8. We're going 8 for 8. We didn't quite go 8 for 8, but we got a lot. And that was awesome. I'll never forget that. And then, race wise, like I always love like a good relay race. So my favorite race of all time was winning indoor 4x4, IC4A 4x4 with Tony Menza, Kevin Tapper, Jake Eaton Hall. We had just lost to Navy at the league meet. We barely beat them in the 4x4 the week before at leagues, and then we faced them again in the IC4A final. It was a super close race. We barely edged them out, broke the school record, won IC4A. Like that was another awesome race I'll never forget.
Great. That was very memorable. I think that's still our school record for indoor. So,
yep.
All right. Rob, what's your most memorable moment?
I think it's gotta be.
I might know it.
Gotta be 2010 outdoor meet, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I think my most memorable moment there was before the 4x4, just trying to recover out of like the 90-degree heat, sun, sitting under the bleachers and chugging those really salty Gatorade packs, and just trying to wait for all the adrenaline to get back in my system to finish that race. I don't remember much about the rest of that day, but I hear the stories and they're pretty good.
That was a lot of stories from that weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of stories. So our men and women both won at the same day at home, and lots of alums there. And boy, it still ranks as one of my biggest days as a coach. So
hopefully we can get Drew's perspective on that. He tells a good tale there.
I recall you saving my ass that day, Robbie. Oh, excuse my language, but that was not one of my best days that day. But yeah, definitely the most memorable. I think I cried twice. Once when I got like 5th place in the high jump, and then and then again when Robbie brought home that relay race. Yeah, it's just for the alumni that were there and for all the people lined up on the track. And I think Coach told you just had to get 3rd or something, if I remember correctly. And don't let anyone whack the baton out of your hand.
Yeah,
like the conversations we were having.
I remember getting the 4x400 together. We had a long pause because there's supposed to be 2 heats of the 5K, and they combined it to 1. So we had the power for that 4x4, and all we could do is finish 3rd, and we win the meet.
Yeah.
I remember saying, those guys from Army and Navy, they're going to try and knock that baton out of your hand. I tell you, it's like, hold on to that baton. We can jog and finish third. Just don't let them knock it out of your hand.
Yeah, don't be a hero. Run lane 4. Yeah. No, it was that was. However, the following year, I will say it was pretty cool because I had a better meet. So the outdoor at Lafayette, when we had won a second time, I felt like the first time people kind of thought, oh, like they snuck one in on us. And then the second time, I remember actually Coach Donner walking up and putting his arm around me and saying, Fitzgerald, this is cool. I mean, winning last year was cool, but we're up by 45 points right now with 5 events to go. And, you know, it was just, we're all standing there kind of celebrating and half watching the races because it didn't matter at that point. And that was also a really cool moment to kind of solidify that, you know, we were the real deal and, you know, we were capable of beating these guys.
Yep.
Over and over again. So, that was fun.
And Justin, your most memorable moment?
I think I'm going to agree with Rob and Drew. I think 2010 was a pretty great moment just for the
You were a
team.
freshman, I think.
I was a freshman. It was the first outdoor championship since 1991, since I think Army and Navy had joined the league. It was a big moment for you, Coach, you know, winning that men's outdoor championship. It was just a good moment all around. You know, the energy, the vibes, the celebrations, it was all great. It was a great experience to come into. And then individually, I would say probably at the beginning of that year, just coming in, working with Coach Hobson, and, you know, us sprinters having a battle of achieving the school record for the 60. I think I knocked it down at once, and then we had some other guys who were knocking it down, and it was a constant battle. So I will always remember that, man. Great memories there. Great memories.
Yeah. I remember you won freshman of the year in 2012, I remember.
Yeah.
And then I think, were you MVP in 13 or something like that, outdoors or something like that?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, that was a big one.
We had quite a few championships though, so that was good. Our class did really well, man. Our class did really well.
Yep. All right. Billy, I think I might know this answer. What was your memorable moment?
So if I'm going to cheat like everyone else, the team one would be winning the indoor 4x4 with actually Alex on it at home.
Yeah.
Just because that, you know, that environment that everyone's talked about is something that you probably won't experience anywhere else. I mean, coming down, you know, I made probably the worst move you could make in a 4x4, passing the Boston kid about 150 meters into the race and then trying to run the last 250 from the front of the race. But I think just that environment gave me that extra gear to just kind of hold them off. And then from an individual standpoint, it would probably be my junior year outdoor, especially going sub 21 in the 2. It wasn't even something I was thinking about. I was pretty much just focused on the 4, and it just kind of happened. So I would say that would probably be my most memorable.
What I liked about that 4x4, Billy, was I think Boston might have had a seed time about 4 or 5 seconds faster than us.
Yep.
Of course, they get to run on a real bouncy indoor track, and they had to come to our place. And boy, their legs were tying up toward the end of those races. And I remember you taking control and Alex taking control and winning that thing. That was a lot of fun. So a lot of fun. And I think I already talked to you, Christian, right? Yep, that's it. Yep. My memory's getting bad as I get older here, boys.
Yeah, I went first. You're good.
Yeah, all right, thanks. All right. Let's go with our student athlete, Alex. Why don't you ask a question here?
So I just wanted to thank you guys for coming in and talking to us. This means a lot for me. Get to hear all these stories and just kind of learn more about the Bucknell history, our track team. It's been awesome. Thank you. And first question, we'll start with Billy. What advice would you give me or any of the other athletes that are in the program right now about the college track and field experience at Bucknell?
You know, I think I probably said this to you when I was a senior, but you know, make the most of it. It goes very fast. You know, when you're a freshman, a sophomore, all you want to do is be an upperclassman. And when you're an upperclassman, all you want to do is start it over again. So I think, you know, the best thing you can do is just, you know, make the most of it, even if you don't want to. I was guilty of this more than once. I just don't feel like running the 4x4, but looking back, if I could run one more race, I definitely would. So I always say, make the most of every race you get, especially now, with how much you guys have had to sacrifice with your season. When you get out there this weekend, go and give it, everything you would have given through indoor. So just try and do everything you can to make the most of it.
Alex, when was your last race?
Leagues at Lehigh, and I got hurt.
Yeah.
not very good. So definitely want to improve from that.
Gotcha.
We'll go with Justin next. What advice would you give us on the team now about the Bucknell track and field experience?
Man, I would say, be hard on your teammates. That only helps, the team overall. I know during my experience, I had a lot of teammates who, love to bust each other's bones. We love to get on each other, and practices were intense, man. And that really led to a lot of success on our end. It was a lot of fun. Learned a lot of things, but it also, held each of us accountable. And I think that was really valuable during my time.
Yeah, thank you. I'll go with Christian next.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to reiterate a little bit of what Billy was saying, but I'll say it a little differently. And like, if you really love the sport, just like go all in on it and be fully committed. Because like Billy was saying, like it's really valuable time. And like even if you try and keep up with running post collegiately, like there's something really special about being on a Division I team and running with your teammates and running at school. So I'm sure you guys dealing with everything that's going on right now appreciate that more than anyone. But whatever races you have, whatever time you have, just like be fully committed to it, because you don't get the chance, after college to run in the same way. And then the only other like quick thing I'll add on is just put in like the little bit of extra work, just like stretching, icing, going to the trainer, just like anything you can do to mitigate injury. Just like, cause the time's so valuable, and that's something that I wish I did more of, because I lost like a lot of time to injury. It's just like time you don't get back. So I wish I just took that little bit of extra time every single day, just to, you can't always prevent it, but whatever you can do to help, I think is worth it.
Yeah, thank you. I'll go with Rob next.
Yeah, I kind of want to not repeat what everyone's saying, but kind of build off it and say, be disciplined, and it feels like the season's gonna be long. If you're not competing till the spring, but you start practicing in the fall, it feels like it takes forever, right? But once you're out, like there's nothing better than being on the team and practicing every day, being around your friends and just enjoying and having a good time. So I'd say, be disciplined with yourself. And then to repeat what Justin said, like be disciplined and make your teammates also disciplined. Really get the most out of your time. Don't be jealous of everyone else going out and partying. Just, have a good time. But I don't know. I really enjoyed, having a good performance with myself and like being happy with my own performance, and then seeing my teammates succeed and besting their times. Like really, you got to put that work in and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, this year's been tough. We've had to definitely do a lot of self-discipline, just kind of practicing remote. But yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. And lastly, with Drew.
Oh yeah. I would say more of along the lines of what Rob was saying. I tell my little brother this. He was a high jumper at Binghamton. I was like, you got the rest of your life to party and to have drinks or to do whatever extracurricular stuff you want to do. Like the best is yet to come as far as that, So like you only get 4 years here at Bucknell, and 4 years to set records and 4 years to win medals and whatever you want to accomplish. So I think that's a good point. And then I would say just focusing on people and your teammates, get to know everybody, like I had my wedding this October, and it wasn't a huge wedding, especially with COVID going on, but the proportion of Bucknell people there, it was just, 10 years later, I graduated 10 years ago now. It's just impressive, the people that I've kept close in my life. So take the time to enjoy the sport and build that foundation, that those relationships, just because you'll have them for a long time. I don't see my relationships ending with these people. So get to know your teammates personally, and if you don't, like, learn about them, you know.
Thank you. Yeah, that's one of the things I love about this team. I pretty much know almost all the guys, except for this year's a little tough, but it's one of the things I told Donner in my captain interview is I know everyone. I could be friends with everyone, and the relationships I made on this team will definitely last me a lifetime. Just thinking about future, like, oh, who do I invite here? I know so many people, and yeah, thank you for that. My second question will be, what advice do you have about networking and finding the right job after Bucknell? We'll go with Justin, just because you're on the top of my screen.
Yeah, man. So I worked at Student Calling while I was there, where we called alumni, and that was such a great experience. So I would say definitely, tap into the alumni network. Go to all of your Bucknell events in your city. I did not go to a lot of Bucknell events when I was back in Delaware, but since I've been in Atlanta, coincidentally, one of my fraternity brothers, Tana Idiokumbo, he was running our alumni events down here, and those were super fun for us here in Atlanta. So I say definitely tap into those, man. You'll network a lot, get a lot of resources. It'll be awesome.
Awesome, thank you. Christian, next, please.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say, because I see this a bit in my field, is like definitely don't limit your opportunities based on your major. Like, look, obviously there's going to be certain career fields where specific degrees are required, but like a lot of time, like I work at BlackRock, which is a finance company. Like some people think like, oh, I can't apply there without a finance degree. Meanwhile, we're hiring history majors, biology majors, English majors all the time. So a lot of times I see people just think they're not going to get considered for a role based off their college major, but a lot of companies really like diversity of thought, diversity of experience, and something you can lean into an interview. And then definitely, use the Bucknell name and the Bucknell degree and those connections to get you those opportunities. But once you're in the interview setting, like just act like everyone you're competing against also went to Bucknell. Because once you get to that seat, which the Bucknell degree is super helpful at getting to that seat, but then it comes down to personality and delivering yourself and being unique.
Awesome, thank you. Rob?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say just on the interview part, yeah, definitely be yourself. Open up, show who you are, because that's really, once you get to the interview stage, right, they know that you can probably do the work very well. It's just they need to see if you're compatible with their team and how they're working. And I don't know how many times like I've been asked that, is Bucknell part of the Ivy League? I was like, no, but we have a really good reputation, right? So use that and build off it, and just tell them that you're part of Ivy League. Who cares? Yeah, we got a really good education, so go for it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. We'll go with Drew next.
I think one thing that came to mind was, especially early on, definitely go with your passion and look out ahead. Like, where do you want to be? Don't apply for the job, apply for the career. Like, where do you see yourself in 10 years or 15 years? And it's really hard to think about when you're in college, because I remember it was almost like a competition, like, oh, so-and-so got this contract with this company. And it's real easy to get bogged down in salaries and everything else. But I think the most successful people started at the bottom and they found something that they felt really passionate about. And that's why they found success, So that's all I would say. And just as far as networking, don't be afraid to talk to people, whether they're Bucknellians or not. I'm interested in this investment. I know nothing about it. Like, you can get on a blog, you can call someone, hey, I know you don't know me, but you're really successful in this field. And, what were your mistakes? What can I learn from? So just, don't be afraid to ask people who have been there and find a better way than, maybe you can get there 2 years earlier than they did or whatever. So I think just go with your passion and not with your dollars, especially out of college.
Thank you. Lastly, with Billy.
I think kind of going off what Drew said, I had someone while I was at GE, I had someone from a current student at Bucknell reach out to me because they were interested in the GE internship. And even though I was not even remotely in the area they were interested in, I was still able to answer questions, and get them in contact with someone at least locally up here in Albany who runs, our intern department up here. And get them in contact, and they set up a couple interviews and they said it went well. So, like you were saying, just don't be afraid to reach out to people. And going off what Christian said, you know, I was a finance major and a minor in education, but I worked at GE in their IT, and now I'm working at a startup doing rail transportation. So, you know, you're not really limited by your major. It helps you build, you know, a good knowledge base, but really the best work experience you can get is just being in the job and getting, you know, putting those hours in. You learn a lot, you know, in your role.
All right. Awesome, guys. Thanks for answering. That's all I got for today.
Yeah, that was some great advice there, guys. So we'll go right back to Billy here. Who's the teammate that you most admired and why?
So mine is easy. It was Steve Rizzio. And even though he may not have been, you know, an individual champion or, you know, one of the top big names within our team, you know, he's the type of guy you'd walk into the locker room, no matter what kind of mood you're in, he's smiling. No matter if he's in a good mood, he's in a bad mood, he can make you smile. And from an athletics perspective, you know, he was the rock. He was our leadoff every relay. You know,
He loved
if we
leading
need him
off.
to,
He loved that
he
role.
would do anything, you know.
Yeah.
We put him in the 4x1 when we lost some of our 4x1 runners. May not have been his event. He ran it as hard as anyone else, you know, possibly could. And you know, I show a lot of respect for Steve, and I'm glad that he was part of some of our gold medal relays. So
Good. And Christian, who is the athlete that you most admired?
Yeah, the guy that I want to talk about was Jake Eaton Hall.
I knew you were going to say that.
So similar,
I knew it.
Yeah. I mean,
knew it.
He's the best man in my wedding. So I definitely have some good things to say about him. But yeah, similarly, like, I mean, he was never like the most talented guy on the team. And I mean, Drew is already cursed, but he would just kick ass in every like tough like workout that we would do. Just extremely strong work ethic, supernatural leader, someone I looked up to early on at Bucknell, and he always did a great job motivating the younger guys. I mean, they called him like the fearless leader when he was a senior and a captain. He was on both the 4x1 and 4x4 teams that had the school records. Never a guy you had to worry about like not running his all any given day. And he just really loved the sport. Like, he and I would stay late after exams in the winter to get extra workouts in. He skipped his graduation to run the 4x4 at IC4As. And like my favorite just overall story about him is, so he started at Bucknell as a middle distance guy. So his freshman, sophomore year, he's running the 400, 500, sometimes the 800. And then 1 week before Indoor Patriot League, his junior year, the 400 competition in the league was just super tough. So he wasn't going to make the fast seat. So he just asked Coach Hopkins, like, Coach, can I run the 60 dash so I can make sure I get a spot on the league roster? So they throw him in the 60 a week before. He runs well enough to make the roster. He ends up getting third in the league in the 60 a week later, also scoring the 200. So just like a super crazy range as far as what he could run. The only person I know to like drop down in distance in college and do better. And then after graduation, he goes and runs a sub 3-hour marathon. So I think he has to be one of the only people in the world to have broken 11 in the 100 and 3 in the hours in the marathon, or at least one of the only few. So pretty crazy. Great guy.
And another story, you might have heard this, when you pulled your hamstring, I believe at the 2013 outdoor, is that this year you pulled your hamstring?
Yeah, my sophomore year.
Yep. And we were worried that we weren't going to win that league meet without you. And Jacob came up to me and said, "Don't worry, Coach, we got this."
Yep.
And then he rallied.
Yeah, I've heard that story.
You know, our steeplechase,er, it was unbelievable what happened, you know. So it was a great.
Yeah, that was a
great
cool meet despite what happened. That was awesome.
Despite you not able to finish. That's why we admired Jacob Eaton Hall. Justin,
Definitely.
who did you admire the most?
I'm gonna go with Lenny Joseph here, man. Lenny and I, we shared a lot of time together. You talk about a focused, passionate, like determined athlete. Oh man, like Lenny inspired me in many ways. You know, he was one of the guys who held us all accountable. He would be the guy that you would see in the gym late night, after hours, doing the extra little bit, just to make sure that he was the best, man. And that guy was competitive as well. You talk about competitive nature. He made sure that we were all coming ready to go at our meets and all competitions. You know, we came on our visit together as well. So Lenny and I, we spent a lot of time together, a lot of time. A good buddy of mine, and definitely someone who I looked up to out on the track, 100%.
Yeah, he was very focused on that hammer.
Oh yeah.
Nothing but to be an All-American there. That was what he wanted. Rob, who'd you admire the most?
I'm gonna say Sean Coyne. He was a junior when I was a freshman, and I was still trying out for the team when our schedules, our class schedules, were very, I guess, class heavy in the mornings when all the practice, or mornings and afternoons when the practices were. So we had our own special 5 o'clock practice with just me, Sean, and Coach Hudson. And I had very raw hurdle form. I didn't have a coach in high school. So Sean really became my coach, and really, introduced me to the team and looked out for me. So yeah, good guy. Always worked hard, out of in the classroom and on the track. So yeah.
Yep, he was a great guy. Great guy. And Drew, who'd you admire?
I'm cheating this time. I have two. I have somebody I looked up to and someone I looked down to as far as classes go. And I looked down to this guy, Robbie Arndt here, just because, he just led with all action all the time, like never said a word, walked on the team, like didn't care what anybody thought about him. Like, I just remember thinking, like, by the time I was a junior, like, we're going for an outdoor championship, and I'm thinking, like, I can't believe this guy walked onto the team and just demanded respect of everybody without saying a word. Like, I've never seen anyone else like have so much respect of everyone around them without, like vocally holding anyone accountable. He just put his head down and did whatever had to be done. And so thanks, Robbie, for that. I always looked up to you for that. But then the other guy I got to mention is Dave Mante. Got to know him on my recruiting visit. I was recruited as only a pole vaulter. He was only a pole vaulter. So kind of got along with him right away. And I was a very immature, both physically and mentally. I was a very immature athlete coming into Bucknell. And so by the time I came onto the team, was a professional in a great sport, and underneath it all was like a fiery competitor too, even though you'd never really know it. So yeah, he's someone I always looked up to just for the way he carried himself and kind of built a culture, and he knew when to step on me and when to let me be myself. And so, yeah, he had a big part of shaping my Bucknell experience.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. He was a great guy, great vaulter himself. So, all right, guys, last question. This is my 20th year as head coach at Bucknell. I'm always looking for little things to try to become a better head coach. What advice would you give me with this Bucknell track and field program, knowing what you've been through, knowing what's happening now, knowing me, knowing what the culture? Give me some advice, and we'll start with the youngest one here, and Billy.
So I think the biggest thing for me when I was on the team was just how well you made us feel like a team. Coming from my high school team, like I said before, we just run and then get out of there. I think coming to Bucknell, in the way that you would put challenges forward for the sprint groups, some of the meets, for you to do push-ups if we ran, a certain amount of people under 12 seconds, in the 100, and while we might expect 2 to get there, you're pushing that third guy to get under it or whoever it might be. And so I think just especially in times like these where they're not getting to see, Alex went from knowing every single person on the team to now, because of current events, it's harder to get to know everyone.
Yeah, they don't let us have team meetings anymore.
Yeah.
Through Zoom.
Yeah. So I think, any ability you can to push them to, whether it be cheering the pole vaults on, cheering on the 4x4, any way that you can push them like you did with us is the best way, just because the team bonding, team unity was so important while I was there.
Well, we'll try and give that a go this weekend, right, Alex?
Yes, Coach.
Right.
I definitely will be watching everyone compete. So excited to just see freshmen happy. They've been, bottled up for so long. Everyone's been bottled up for so long. I'm just happy to maybe leave the state and run a meet.
Sure. So, Justin, give me some advice. You need to become better.
I would say, Coach, you were really good at making sure the little things were known. I would say you emphasized the little things to us. Remembering you were a student athlete, not drinking because it was easy or, there. Track camp, even kind of remember back to track camp, getting on our two-a-days. It was just those little things that, if you were consistent with those things over time, it leads to success. So I think you've got a knack for it. Just keep it up. Keep bringing in the athletes who are raw, and if they put in the work, I think you'll get them there.
All right, thank you, Justin. And Christian.
Yeah, not as much advice as more of an idea. And I kind of remember this getting thrown around a couple years back. I thought it was worth bringing up. I would love to see, like, when you get back to around post-COVID environment and you do like the blue and orange inter-squad meet, I think it'd be really cool to implement some sort of like alumni portion within that, be it like we get our own team or you put us on the blue and orange team. I think it'd be really cool to give a way for the alumni to come back as a track team and get to know like the current athletes better. Like, it's been awesome just talking to Alex like virtually over Zoom, but it's like meeting the whole team in a larger setting and in a competition setting, I think would be really cool. I don't know what the demand would be for it. Maybe we can get, Rob and Justin and all these guys out of retirement, who knows? But I think it would be kind of a fun competitive thing to do. Get some of us all back together. Todd, we can use it as a, fundraising event. So, just a thought, throw it around in the future. But no, you're doing a great job, Coach. And, hopefully things clear up and we can get back to the Bucknell track and field that we all loved and we got to experience.
Funny you say that, Christian. Coach Alexander and I have talked about a blue-orange versus alumni meet. And we almost got it going a couple years ago, and a few people backed out at the last second. But, and then of course there's some, things with NCAA compliance we have to work over. But overall, it's no different from an alumni basketball game, which we do. So we could just do it as a track and field meet. So that's something. To be honest, during the cross country, Greg Costello of the early 2000s mentioned the alumni employment network. And just about a month ago, we had about 30 alums on here and from different industries, and we broke off into breakout groups, and that was a lot of fun and very, very good. And that actually came from one of these sessions when I asked for advice that I took care of it, and it ended up being a big success. So, Rob,
all right.
Advice for me?
Yeah, I'd say keep up the catchphrases. Like, we're not made of sugar.
I still use
and also, yeah, also no more Golden Corral. Please, no Golden Corral.
Well,
Panera's good. Panera's good.
Yeah, with 80 people, Golden Corral, you're in and out in a half an hour. Panera bread would be an hour and a half, man. So.
Yeah, but then the Golden Corral's out of you in half an hour also.
You're not the first person who has said this, Rob. You're about the fourth or fifth, and Todd can attest to that. I guess Golden Corral hasn't gone over that all great, huh? So, all right, Drew, what advice?
How much time you guys got?
What's that?
I said, how much time do you guys got? No, obviously, all being 2010s athletes, like, we all came into this program because we loved what we saw and what you had built. So not a lot of advice, but I would say that one thing I think is universal about Bucknellians, everybody loves to see Bucknell somewhere unexpected, whether it's, at an appointment with a client or on TV. Or I remember the only reason I knew about Bucknell is because we beat Kansas and we made it into the tournament and it was a big run. Like, that's why I knew Bucknell. So I guess relating to track and field, if you have that special athlete or that handful of athletes, like I remember going to Auburn for a meet, and I remember some of the better runners got to go to California after I graduated. So that's one thing that I would like to see is Bucknell, even if it's one uniform somewhere at a big meet, it's just that's really cool, and it's good for the program. It's good for alumni. It's good for the school. It's good for everybody, you know? And I know that there's been more of an effort in recent years to do that. And I think that's really cool. Because if I can turn on my TV and see a Bucknell runner or Bucknell basketball, like it just, you know, it puts us on the map for a lot of kids. You never know what high school kid is going to see you guys run in California, you know?
Yep. Yeah. A few years ago, we took about 10 kids to Arizona State for a meet, and some of our people talked about that was a special day for them. So
yeah, and it's great to have the team. I know we're very team oriented, but you know, sometimes if you have that special individual and you can focus them, you know, even if it's for one season on an event and get them in the spotlight, I think that's really awesome. So
sure. All right, guys. Well, hey, this was a lot of fun. Hopefully Alex learned something that he can take to his team for some advice. But you guys were a very special group. Todd is right. I do believe eventually all of you will be in the Hall of Fame. I do think that day is coming, whether it's going to come early in your tenure or later in your tenure, but all of you are very deserving, and you've done some great things, been part of some records, some championships, and boy, that was a golden era track and field that we got to try and get back here. And, but you guys were awesome, and you know, got things rolling. But also keep in mind, we took our share of hits too. Before we won some of those meets, we took our share of hits. So you got to learn to lose before you can win. And I do think we'll turn this corner, get back to where we need to be. But I was looking forward to this call as much as any. And you guys were very special to Bucknell track and field, as well as me as the head coach. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks so much for doing this. Thank you.
All right, guys. Couple quick comments to wrap this up. And the first thing I'll say is, when it does come time for you guys to be out of school 10 years and you are nominated for the Hall of Fame, because I do think that many of you will be, I will tell you that Coach Donner is one of the most supportive coaches of his program of any we have. I'm the chair of the selection committee, and we allow our coaches to come in and speak on behalf of people on the ballot. And Coach is there every time, and he really wears it on his sleeve, and he really pushes. And I'll tell you what, I hear it when we don't have a spike shoe guy get in the Hall of Fame or a spike shoe woman. I hear it from Coach. So just know that he's always in your corner, whether you are here currently as an athlete or 10 years later as an alum. And Christian, we will gladly have that alumni meet as long as you guys sign that waiver for competition. We're good to go. All right, so Alex, a couple comments for you. Thanks so much again for joining us tonight. I know you can't wait to get out there and compete this weekend. Wish you the best of luck at Virginia and the rest of the way. And I hope you have a great Patriot League championship. Good luck to you and your teammates.
Thank you. Thank you.
And to the alums, great to see all of you guys again. Coach, a tremendous amount of talent on this call. Thank you for all that you did while you were here as members of the Orange and Blue and the way that you represented the university and the program. But more importantly, thank you for what you've done since you left. We cannot have the Spike Shoe program like we do without the support of our alumni, and it's really appreciated. We're able to have 80 to 85 individuals in our program because the alums support us, and we really appreciate all that you do after you leave the school as well. So thank you for that. And then for those of you tonight who tuned in to watch at home, we thank you for doing so, and go Bison.